As a parent, you get worried that your children will follow the crowd or become people pleasers. Meanwhile, you just want to give them the confidence to be themselves and stand up to any criticism. So, how can you help your child embrace their individuality and authenticity? Today, in part one of a two-part series, we'll discuss how to nurture your child's authenticity and how to raise children who feel free to be themselves. Now listen, I did my fair share of following the crowd. I wore fluorescent oversized tees and scrunchies with layered tube socks and listened to New Kids on the Block. Not exactly original in the late 80s and early 90s. But embracing your individuality is a lifelong process. As children and teens, fitting in can feel really important and safe. I mean, no one wants to be the butt of jokes, but we're not all meant to be cookie cutter copies of the mainstream. It can be really hard to embrace who you are when everyone else is doing something else. And I truly believe it's a lifelong process, but it can start young and you can help your kids start that process now. All right, number one, choose authenticity over pleasantness. Do you tend to be a people pleaser? If the answer is yes, you're not alone. Maybe you worry about disappointing others or you do everything that's expected of you to avoid judgment. And forget taking risks because what would people think if you failed? Women and girls may especially feel pressure to be people pleasers. Historically, adults are more likely to let boys take risks and be vocal. Meanwhile, girls are expected to mind their manners, speak politely, and follow the rules. I like to make other people feel comfortable and safe, and that's a nice quality, but sometimes we take it too far. I remember being in a staff meeting a few years ago. I looked around the table. The women were using active listening skills like nodding their heads and giving small smiles, while the two men sat there with no expressions on their faces, just a straight face. I remember being so jealous because sometimes so-called active listening can actually get in the way of real listening. But I knew if I didn't nod my head, everyone would think I was rude or uptight or not a team player. But everyone considered these men to be nice people. They're just different expectations for men and women in the workplace, for how we've been socially conditioned. I want you to get rid of the popular phrase, be nice. Ugh. It's so bland, blah, boring. What is nice, really? It usually means don't be bold and behave properly. A little outdated for the kids that we want to raise today. Number two, toss perfection aside. There have been one or two times someone sweetly called me Superwoman and I couldn't accept the compliment. Not because I'm bad at accepting compliments, but because no one is a superwoman. And if I'm doing something really well right now, chances are there are four other things I've absolutely neglected. The do-it-all mom persona, so prevalent on Instagram, trickles down to our girls. And they're supposed to be everything today. Smart and fun, athletic and pretty, straight A's and a flourishing social life. But it's too much pressure. No one can fulfill all these roles at once. Instead, try to prioritize instead of perfect. At any one moment, we can prioritize maybe 2 or 3 things in our lives that will take center stage. Maybe right now it's work and marriage. Maybe next year it's your health, children, and your business. But if you make those priorities clear in your own head, it's easier to say no to other things and to remind yourself that you can't focus on 50 things at once. So it's okay that your kitchen isn't Pinterest worthy because you decided this is the year of your business. Prioritize. Got it? Okay, next. Share some struggles with your child. This can be hard because you want your kids to think you have it all together, but it's helpful for them to see we're not perfect. When my child gets a little bit older, I'll share that I only got into 1 law school out of the 7 I applied to. It crushed me for a while, but I came back. For younger kids, think about something age appropriate, something small, like if you burn the cookies. Let her see you not give up. This won't be the last time you bake cookies, right? And let her see you problem solve. Will you buy cookies instead? And let her see you take ownership of the problem. You're not blaming it on anyone else. All right, next one. Increase your tolerance for failure. Are you petrified you won't get that job? That no one will want your photography lessons? It's okay to be scared, but if that keeps you from moving forward, you'll never take a chance and never accomplish anything that's really hard. So we have to learn to fail and expect 100 tiny failures before we reach the thing or the dream. Okay, last one. Like yourself first. The best way to parent is to model the behavior you want to see, even if you're not there. My kid once asked, "Do you think Miss A will like my shirt today?" And I reminded her, it's more important that you like the shirt you're wearing. Other people's opinions can't shatter or build up ourselves. But it can be hard when you know someone doesn't like you, right? But think about it this way. If you don't hit it off with someone, maybe it's a good sign. Maybe it's because you feel even closer to your own values and you're not willing to give them up. I once heard someone say that every time someone unsubscribes from their email list, they do a little happy dance. Weird, right? But it's actually kind of awesome because they want to either attract or repel people. That's when you know your message is working. I'm not saying we shouldn't be open to new ideas, not at all, but can you decide to believe right now that a friendship or relationship that's kind of failing to gel is actually a good sign that you're committed to your values and recognize who you are? Try to see it. I have a couple quick exercises for you on the blog to help you put it into practice. Thanks for showing up. You are awesome, and you're well on your way to raising confident children who embrace who they really are. And just so you know, these tips are an excerpt from the 5-Day Reboot to Raising Confident Girls, a free mini e-course that you can get at thinkerblue.com/5-day reboot. I can't wait to see you there.